Welcome to another episode of Good Teams Win, Great Teams Cover. Thanks for joining us for our Week 4 preview. The weeks are flying by. I can't believe after that long wait we're here in Week 4 of the NFL. And what a great week we've got ahead. We've got the first of the London games with the Falcons coming to take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. And we've got cracking games up and down the slate. We kick off this week's episode with our guest picker segment, joined by Gary Thorpe. Gary, welcome to Good Teams and Great Teams Cover. Pleasure to have you on.
Cheers, Paul. Thanks for having me on. I'm looking forward to this, if slightly nervous.
Good stuff. Look, there's some pressure. We've had the guest pickers have had mixed fortunes so far.
Okay. I'll take mixed fortunes. I'll take a batting 500 average if I can get out of it like this.
Yeah, I think. Look, if you get out going 2-2, I think you've done okay. That's respectful. We had Bobby G go 1-3. We had Scott Cove go 3-1. Tanner went 2-2. So, yeah, we've not had a guest go 4-0 yet. We've had the guys. Joe's gone 4-0 twice, and Byron's gone 4-0 once. So
nice.
Good stuff. So the pressure's on. See if you can deliver that perfect 4-0. I've been nowhere near 4-0, so,
Okay, so not that much pressure then.
Yeah, it's some solace there. The guy who show it is he's not even getting near. So, yeah, it's cool. But this segment is brought to you by the Fantasy Gameday app. Go give the guys a follow at fantasy_gameday and go download the app from wherever you get your apps for, the Google Play Store, the Apple App Store, wherever it is. Welcome to Fantasy Gameday, the UK's first NFL daily fantasy app exclusively for fans in the UK. Join a game and build a lineup of your favourite NFL stars within the budget. Enter up to 5 lineups to improve your chances of winning a cash prize. The top 20% of entries win, and the higher you finish, the higher your prize tier. It's finally here, exclusively available in the UK. Must be 18 years or older to enter. Please gamble responsibly. Get the ad reading. The guys at the Fantasy Gameday app are awesome as well, by the way. So go give them a follow, go sign up, go give it a go as well. The person who won £159 this week, the prizes ranged from like £24 all the way up to £159 for the winner. So yeah, if you can get that perfect lineup in, you give yourself a great chance of winning. Go follow me on Instagram, Twitter. Yes, Gary's on it. Nice, good stuff. And it's a great app as well. I've noticed it's in its early stage, but a great app. Right, Gary. We'll talk a little bit Niners. You've just been on the Paul Redmond Show on the Let's Talk Sports Network, so we're doubling up. Niners have been brilliant so far. Let's just quickly. I know we're probably going to talk about them. I've got a funny feeling they're going to be your pick.
They might be in there somewhere. They might be in there somewhere.
Yeah. Playing the Cardinals this week. The 14-point favorites. The Niners. It's a big number. How confident are you feeling that the Niners are going to cover it? They're going to win the game, surely.
Yeah, they're going to win the game. They're winning it. Chris, they've been competitive, the Cardinals, and that's a big spread to cover. But you got to look at it and you go, the Niners' defense is elite at the moment. We're scoring 30 points at will, without really getting out of second or third gear. So you got to think, well, we're at least scoring 30. Maybe more because it's a home game and you might click a little bit more, and we might, I'm hoping we've got Ayuk back this week because we didn't have him last week and we still put up 30 against the Giants. So, maybe, offensively we're still looking at scoring that many. Will the Cardinals get within 14 is the question, and I can't see it. Bosa got his sack last week. Hargrave's been great in the middle. Armstead's smashing things in the middle. Our defense is right there. I think we're 14's a big number though. It's a big spread. It's a big high spread, and that's the slight concern because the Cardinals have been in and about on all of their games, and last week completely turned the form book on its head. So it's a tough game to be that confident about, especially it's a divisional game. They're always tight. They're always niggly. So 14 is a big spread though.
It might be a bit of a letdown spot, I think, for the Cardinals as well around. But that was a big win for them last week, and does it just tail off a little bit after that? But they're putting 3 very good performances so far. All line looks good as well.
They're keeping Dobbs upright, not to, unlike previous years where, Murray, it was almost like turnstiles on the O-line for the Cardinals at some point. So, they are competitive, gritty, fighting. So, yeah, it's an interesting one.
Yeah, should be one that's in the late slate. Well, kick us off then, and I'm sure Well, let's just start there. Let's get it out of the way. Who's your? So we're going to do our fourfold challenge. You pick a favourite, an underdog, an under, and an over. Just a reminder for everyone, we're doing this obviously throughout the season between me, Joe, and Byron. We'll have our guest record as well. The guests are going pretty well. The guests are doing better than me at the minute, coming in a combined effort. And whoever finishes bottom between me, Joe, and Byron will be donating to the charity of the winner's choice, to the value of the gap between the bottom and the winner's record, which at this rate is going to be quite a lot of money.
You've been coughing up a fair bit there, aren't you?
Yeah, it's a long 18 weeks.
So it mounts up and you keep watching it grow.
Yeah, but at least it's going to go to a good cause, so I won't feel too bad about it. But Gary, give us your favourite for the week. I don't think we're going to be surprised by
You're not going to be surprised. My favourite's the 49ers this week. It's almost a gimme. I'm going to say that, but I went out on the last man standing last week because I thought the Jags were a gimme as well. But I'm putting the 49ers in as favourite.
It's just a big spread that puts me off 14, and I think there'll be some stats on.
Oh, hold on. So when I say favourite, are you saying that the favourite has to cover the spread now?
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, that's an interesting one. Then I'm changing that.
You can change it.
I'm changing that.
This is not to win outright. This is absolutely to cover the spread.
Cover the spread. So the Eagles then.
Going Eagles. So we've got Eagles are playing the Washington Commanders.
Covering the 8 point. Yep.
Eagles -8. Cool. I think pretty solid, to be fair. Slightly less risky.
Slightly less risky and a more chance there. Yep.
Yeah. Eagles covering the 8, I think, is a good shout. I think, the Niners as well covering the 14s. They probably will.
They probably will, but 14 is it's a lot. It's a big number in the NFL. Yeah.
It is. Cool. Good stuff. So on the same principle, who's going to be your underdog for the week then?
I suppose the Dolphins.
Wild that they're underdogs here.
Wild that they're 2.5 points underdogs. You have to take that, right? You have to, considering what just happened. I know it's the Bills. I know it's in Buffalo, and but come on. The team is flying, literally flying, and how can they be 2.5 point underdogs?
Yeah, off the back of dropping 70 on the.
Could have been more. Could have been more. 70, and half of them with their backups and third strings and whatever else. It's like, come on, you can't put. I don't know what Vegas is doing there, quite frankly.
Yeah, I think this is probably going to be the game of the weekend.
And it's an early game.
It's the early game, yeah, 6 o'clock.
You just know the NFL. You know the NFL are sitting there going, "We should have flexed that. We should have flexed that. We should have flexed that."
I just think it's too early for them to flex Sunday Night Football, isn't it? Otherwise, we've got Chiefs Jets on Sunday Night Football, but instead we get So in that early slate, we're treated to Dolphins Bills. Look, as soon as that 2.5 line came out, I've already backed the Dolphins plus 2.5. I only see that number coming down by the time we get to before we get to Sunday.
I wouldn't be surprised that I might have to call you back up and do a different favourite and underdog, because I wouldn't be surprised if that flipped.
Yeah, absolutely. It's plus 2.5 for the way the Miami are going. And the Bills shaky start, losing that Monday Night Football game against the Jets, but they've come back with 2 solid wins. They
looked pretty good last week, to be honest. They looked solid. Some of the throws that Josh was doing, those laser throws to the corner, some of those were like, that's a nice throw.
Was rampant as well for the Bills, so which they're going to need. That defense is going to need to stand up and be counted against kind of what.
How do you stop that Miami speed rush? I mean, it's just speed, isn't it? Everywhere you look, it's just speed, and Waddle still to come back in as well.
Waddle will be back in as well. Yeah, scary, but certainly would be the game of the week. Yeah, I like that one as the pick. I won't be surprised with when we get to tomorrow when we're recording. Wednesday night.
You might need to kind of just drop me a message and go, we need a different underdog, mate.
No, we're cutting the lines are in. Yeah, the lines are in. These are the lines frozen for us. So we'll be selecting from these lines as well, Gary, when we record tomorrow. So, I think we all might be on the Dolphins.
I think we get on that one, right? Yeah.
Underdog for sure. Who's your under? Which game are you expecting to go under for the week?
I think the Falcons Jags. At London,
don't say that to me. I'm going.
Know it's probably going to end up raining. The turf's going to end up slippery and everything else. It's going to be a run fest. Bijan and Al Jair. We churn up. I just don't see it. Neither of those teams, especially the Falcons, they didn't look great last week. They only put up 6 points. Their offense really didn't fire. They've got a bit of bounce back to go. And I think the Jags could get up 2 points, 2 scores quite quickly, and that'll be it. There won't be that much oomph. It could end up being like 21-6, and that'll be it. There's no point. The game's done. There'll be no, competitive edge to it. I think I've got to worry it could end up being a bit of a squib.
Oh, let's hope not. And
help not obviously from the UK perspective and the London games and everything else, but from this perspective.
Yeah, and I get, history tells us the London games tend to be under the London, but yeah, I'm hoping just selfishly for selfish reasons I'm going to be there at Wembley on Sunday.
Why would you not, right? If you're traveling there and you're going to go in, you want a game, but I do feel that it might just be one of those.
Yeah, it is. It's weird because Atlanta last week they kind of came away from the run, really.
Yeah. When you think of that backfield, just feed that backfield, surely.
Yeah. It was a real odd decision. After Smith called such a good game in the comeback against the Packers in week 2, it just seemed odd that
just completely. It felt like it just took the knees out from the team. The offense were like, well, hang on, we just battled and got a really gritty win. Odd, and the QB just didn't look. He looked back up level, didn't he? Really, so it'd be interesting to see how.
If you're going to put the ball in the hands of Desmond Ridder, you're not going to win many games in the NFL if you're going to get him to try and win your game. So, and look, I'm hoping we'll see that Jags offense click as well. If it does, then I'm hoping we'll see points. Finishes off then, Gary. Well, what's your over? Where are the points going to be then in week 4?
This might be an interesting one. I'm not sure if anyone else will think this, but I see the Bucs Saints being an over.
Oh, nice. So we've got Bucs Saints over 40. The line's 40.5.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I can see that Baker just lobbing it around, kind of giving it. I'm not sure who's going to be under center for the Saints. If Carr's out, then Jameis Winston is going to be throwing interceptions left, right, and center to the Buccaneers because he'll forget he's not playing for the Bucs and just be throwing to the Bucs like he used to do in practice. I could see the Buccaneer defense racking up 14 points on their own there easily. So I can see that being an over.
Nice. I think that'll be the first game of Alvin Kamara after Alvin Kamara's suspension as well for the Saints. So we'd expect to see a heavy dose of him, especially if Derek Carr's injured.
It depends on how Alvin Kamara's kept in shape, right? Surely he might roll into the practice facility, literally roll in, and everyone will be like, well, it's going to take you 3 weeks before you come back, isn't it? I doubt it, obviously, but
Yeah. But I think, Jameis came in the game against Green Bay on Sunday, and I thought he did okay. I think it wasn't just on him that they couldn't kind of close that game out, and ultimately he did drive them into position to win the game.
Just with the kick.
With that missed field goal, and that was a killer. I was on the Saints +1. I got the Saints at plus score before the inactives came out and they flipped to favourites, and gutted with the push. But I think the Saints have been going along okay. They probably just need a little bit more from the offense. The defense is strong. It did kind of start to fall apart a little bit in the fourth quarter against Green Bay, but
it's because they were out there so often. I think that's the problem.
Yeah, exactly. The offense couldn't help them out, and Tampa as well. Fully expected them to get beat well like they did on Monday night against the Eagles. But before that, 2 really good performances against the Vikings and Bears.
And you can't rule out. Baker's there, as we say. Battling for a contract, battling to be in the shop window. They've got some weapons around there. They've got away from their run game. Their run game doesn't seem to be functioning at all, which is why I can see this being, a game in the air. Baker running around, tossing it down the field for Evans and, trying to get some of those crazy catches that he did this week. And I just got this, I can see points racking up very quickly in this game.
Yeah, that one-handed grab that Evans...
literally rode across the back of the defensive back. It's like...
It was Blankenship for the Eagles, and how he kept hold of that ball was... That would be a bit hyperbole saying that's one of the best catches I've seen in the NFL, just this circumstance. It was just crazy.
But then again, you look at the other one, you think of, was it the Colts? Where literally the guy's hand was in his face, lifting his helmet off, and he still caught the damn ball. It's like, that was impressive. That was quite impressive. Yeah.
I think you've got 2 weapons there in Tampa, haven't you, in Godwin and Evans that can really, really help Mayfield out and, ability to go make plays, go up and get the ball. And, I like that. Yeah, that could be quite a fun game.
It could be a fun game. It could be an interesting one in the Dome, as you say, especially if Jameis comes in. I know Derek Carr's, it sounds like he's day-to-day with his shoulder. It didn't sound like it was a bad injury, but a shoulder injury for a QB, he might start. But if he gets the defensive line for the Tampa Bay get to him. There's some big guys on that defensive line. If they land on him and put him back down again, you never know. Jameis might be in quite early.
Yeah, I think you're probably best off just leaving Carr out for the week. I think Jameis has probably built up enough credit with the Saints when he's been in the last couple of years.
And the Saints are not expected to be in and about, right? That division. I mean, to be honest, that NFC South is anybody's for the taking.
And this could be a real key game in deciding the way that goes. I think Carolina have been slow out the blocks, haven't they, so far? So
haven't they benched their first round drafter, haven't they? They've put Andy Dalton back, or is he? I don't know.
I think he was injured. Well, the noise is that he was injured. I don't know if he's going to be back this week, but they did seem to get a lot more joy in the passing game with Dalton in last week. Particularly gone to the old guys. Thielen had a big game as well. So we shall see. NFC South should be interesting. So just to have a run over your picks then, Gary, for the FourFold challenge, you've gone your favourite Eagles -8, underdog Miami Dolphins +2.5 at the Bills, Falcons Jags as the under 43.5, and Bucs Saints as your over 40.5. Best of luck with your picks. We'll see if you can be the first guest to go 4-0.
The under might be a struggle. I don't know. I when I think them through, they all make sense.
They always make sense.
That's why you pick them, right? But yeah, I don't know. The over and under is probably where I might fall down. But having the Dolphins as the underdog is just beyond silly at the moment. I can't understand that one.
Good stuff. Well, Gary, thanks very much for coming on Good Teams and Great Teams cover. We appreciate you. You've been a great guest for the FourFold challenge. Just give our listeners a bit of a shout out. Where can we find you? And what content have you got going on at the minute where we can come watch you?
You can find me all over like a rash, all over the Let's Talk Sport network at the moment. On a Wednesday evening, we're doing the NFL from around the UK, kind of like the Around the NFL kind of podcast, where 4 of us all sit together, UK fans all get together and chat football. So that goes out on 9 p.m. and UK time on a Wednesday evening. Please work out your US times. I think it's 4 p.m. and 1 p.m. Eastern, Pacific, whatever it's called. But you find us on Let's Talk Sport Network on the YouTube channel. Thursdays, I do an EPL show, which is the English Premier League show with 2 guys called Jono and Ronan. Crazy Boom. We do that on a Thursday, 9 p.m. again, same time. So it's at least it's at the same sort of time. And we talk all things soccer, football for the UK fans. And then on a Sunday, 4 p.m. UK time, 8 a.m. Mountain Time, 11 a.m. Eastern. Getting good at that. We do an NFC West show with 4 of us, myself and Sam from the UK, Jason from down in Arizona, and Bo from Seattle, who's obviously a big fan of Let's Talk Sport, and he's all over Let's Talk Sport as well. We all get together and we spend an hour talking NFC West football. One of the best hours of the weekend. If you don't come and tune in, join us in the comments. We have a great time. We batten back and forth. It's a great show, and love those guys. And we have a great show on an hour before kickoff. So come and join us there.
Cool, good stuff. I appreciate you, Gary. Thanks ever so much for coming on. I'm going to hand over to myself with Joe and Byron as we preview the rest of the week 4 slate, go over our against the spread picks for the season, finish off our FourFold challenge, and we'll share our best bets and tips for Fantasy Gameday lineup. So, thanks, Gary.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks to Gary Thorpe there, our guest picker. Give Gary a follow on Twitter, Instagram @Groovy with all R's, O's, V's. So you can catch Gary across the Let's Talk Sports Network, across the NFL Around the UK show, which is Thursdays at 9 o'clock UK time, 4 p.m. Eastern, and whatever else Central and Pacific time that is. It's a great watch. Joe, Byron, welcome to this week's episode. Joining partway through rather than at the start. How are you both doing?
Yeah, grand, yeah. I mean, these weeks are flying in, eh?
Week 4 picks and preview, which is wild.
Next week. Yeah. Already October as well, coming up for this weekend. So
I was going to say, we're not that far ahead, are we?
No, but like on Sunday we will be. It's like, geez, clocks will be going back soon.
Yeah. Yeah, it's flying by quick, and that's the thing. The NFL season just tends to do that. Don't you wait so long for it, and then it just does kind of go by in a flash. So enjoy it while you can. We're going to jump into our preview section. So we've got 6 games we're going to have a look at this week, and we'll also pick out a potential Fantasy Gameday star in 5 of them, because you can't pick it for the London game as lineups close at 5 on Sunday. And just a reminder, we're partnered with the Fantasy Gameday app, the daily fantasy app by British fans for British fans. The app has launched for the 2023 season and offers a tailored experience for UK NFL enthusiasts. Join the Fantasy Gameday community and let's revolutionise the way we play NFL daily fantasy this side of the pond. Must be 18 years old or older to enter, and only available in the UK, including Northern Ireland. Please gamble responsibly. You can go download the app from wherever your app store is, Apple App Store, Google Play Store, whatever your app store is. Go get it now. Enter a lineup for Sunday. The deadline closes at 5 p.m. If you finish within the top 20%, you win yourself a cash prize. The winner took over £159 last week. I think the lowest prize was 25 quid, 24.50, 25 quid. That prize pool is only going to get bigger as it grows. The more people that enter, the bigger the prize pool. So tell your friends, be a friend, tell a friend. More people that enter, the bigger the prize pot. And we'll tell you who we think are going to be some stars. We won't reveal our team because there's some big discussions needed between the three of us after a rancid first effort last week. But we'll tell you who we think is going to be good across the game. So let's start, first of all, with Wembley. We've got the Jags at Wembley. They're hosting another game at Wembley Stadium. I believe it's their 10th game in London that they're going to be celebrating. They host the Atlanta Falcons in a 2:30 p.m. UK time kickoff, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. Falcons. I always say Falcons. I never know. Falcons are +3. Over-under's 43.5. I'll be there.
Ooh. Accredited through good team wins, or
no?
As a fan,
they're a purchase ticket.
75
quid now for I'm up in the gods at Wembley as well. Remember when it was 3 tickets for 90 quid? The first year there were 3 games. You got all 3 for 90 quid.
Well, they used to pay to go to the Jags games, I think.
Yeah, I feel like I've been to a fair few London games, and I've seen the Jags loads, obviously, and I think this is the 4th time I'm going to have seen the Atlanta Falcons as well. We've got Falcons, Jaguars, Falcons. I keep saying it differently now. I'm in my own head. Falcons are
Jaguars.
Yeah, +3. Over-under's 43.5. Always a special time, no matter what the game is, when we have the London games. This is the first of 3. So 3 back-to-back weeks, 1 at Wembley, 2 at Spurs, or Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And this, I don't know if you knew this, I think this is the 31st game in London.
Wow.
Yeah.
Seems like, first game doesn't feel recent, but man, 31, it's really...
Yeah,
it's very cool.
It's we're getting 16 years since the first one, which I think was, I want to say it was Giants Patriots, but I could be wrong. I think it was Giants Patriots at Wembley that then ended up being the Super Bowl, I think.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what the first one I can remember. I remember the first one happening. I think there was a real good Chargers Saints game was one of the first ones, but I have no idea if it was the first. Certainly, Falcons Patriots Giants definitely sounds like more of a marquee matchup.
What are we thinking? I mean, first of all, so you guys are over there now, but it's in Canada and America respectively. Still very special when the NFL comes over to London and the international series games as a whole, but just something a little bit special. There's some myth busting I'm going to do as well through some of the stats, because London gets a bit of an unfair stick. What you're leaning to and what you're expecting to see out of the first game, Falcons Jaguars this coming Sunday?
I think it's kind of get right game for both. Well, both going to try and get right after, a bright start to the season. Then it kind of fell away last week for both of them. I mean, Jaguars had, I think, one of the worst. Hard to say when Denver played, but one of the worst losses of the week relative to expectations. I mean, we all thought the Broncos would lose to Miami, but we all thought the Jags would cover against the Texans, and they end up with a 20-point defeat, 37-17. So this is feels like a real important one for Jacksonville, because they've got back-to-back London weeks as well, so not going to be home for a long time. Although home from home, I guess, for Jacksonville. But I think it's really important. I think revenge game for Calvin Ridley, as much as he needs revenge, but the phrase still works. Up against his former team, and he started real hot this season, looked incredible week 1, and since then he's had very sloppy play, and I think that's impacted Trevor Lawrence. I don't think it's looked too bad, but I think he's been hurt by his pass catchers being a little underwhelming. So yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting matchup certainly, and both need to put a good foot forward.
Yeah. I mean, that Jags offense needs to spark into life. And there's a bit of me that maybe thinks just coming to London might be the thing that they can just kind of get away from it a little bit and just kind of get their heads down and get cracking. And the 2 weeks is interesting. You know, that'll play, and we'll talk about that next week about is that an advantage heading into the Bills game, which I'm sure it will be. But yeah, I just feel like they're a bit stagnant on offense at the minute. We've not seen the best of Trevor Lawrence. We've seen some sparks out of Ridley, like you say, but just feel like they really need to get going. But this is a good opportunity to do so. Sorry, Joe, you were saying.
Yeah, I was going to say it is a get right game for like I said, both teams. And I think for Jacksonville, just because the 1-2, if they lose again, Colts have got the Rams, which we'll chat about later. That's a winnable game for them. So you don't want to be already behind to division rivals when you were expected to absolutely trounce this division. I think everyone had the Jacksonville to win it by a couple of games, so it'll be curious. And also, I think Atlanta's defense has played better than people expected. I think they're at that point where they're good enough. They're just above average, where I think like certain players they got in, like Bates, for example, has really improved their team where they're not going to lose it on defense like they did the last few seasons. So it is on the offense, on the Falcons side, where, again, it's another test for the Falcons quarterback Ridder, where it might be on his shoulder again. And we have to see what the run game was, because they managed to stifle the run game and he had to throw it a lot. And probably one thing what Jags do well is probably run stopping. So again, it's going to be on his shoulders, and it could be one of them games again. How Ridder does will depend on if Falcons actually win this game, because it's going to be a tough game. But I've been disappointed with Jacksonville, both sides of the ball, and it's it's a game. And who depths the Wembley? I don't know if it's raining this weekend. It feels like it rains every UK games, and it's not the best on the Wembley pitch. So
I've got the weather report.
Oh, here we go.
Weather report. It's going to be a gloriously sunny autumnal day. It's going to be I think it's going to be 22, 23 degrees, which, do you want to do the conversion for me? Because I have no idea what that is.
67? 73?
For London in, the UK on the, early October, very early October, as it's going to be the first, pretty good. I'm debating, I'm going down, I might wear shorts.
Well, keep us posted on socials with that one, Paul.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll do a whole good teams win great teams cover at the NFL story.
Get ready with me.
Joe, you need to be on standby for this Sunday to get all that editing done for the Instagram post, because otherwise it'll be a mess. But yeah, it's due to be quite nice all weekend. I think it's peaking to 20 during game time. It's supposed to be about 22, 23 degrees. So yeah, should be a good one, because we know we've seen in the past that the field at Wembley's just cut up and been awful for games. But I don't think we're going to get that. I'm going to correct myself now while I've got the chance. It wasn't Giants Patriots. I got half of it right. The first London game in 2007 was Giants Dolphins. Yeah, 13-10. Wasn't the best of starts. The Chargers Saints shootout was the second game at Wembley.
That was a banger. That was like 34-37 or something.
37-32 to the Saints. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
cool.
That's the San Diego Chargers, then it'll be in Rivers Breeze. Classic.
Yeah, the San Diego Superchargers. So that Giants Dolphins score brings me to a point that I want to make about this game in terms from a picks perspective. So London and the London games have been unfairly and wrongly criticised as being big under games over the course. So we've had 30 now. Anyone care to guess the under-over split for how many it hits over the course of 30 games?
The way you've said it, I'll go 19 overs, 11 unders.
Yeah, I would have gone for lower than 15, but how you saying it? I go for 17, just over.
Yeah, pretty close, 16-14, so it's just. But all I ever hear about the London games is they're low quality, they're unders, they're boring. That's not true. Maybe started out like that, but certainly we've seen in more recent years that actually we're tending to get a lot more overs now, which is interesting. Against the spread, the favourites 50-50. So favourites only cover 15. Have covered 15 games, so you're not getting too much out of a read there as well. The Jaguars have played 9 times. I mentioned this is their 10th time in London. It's our 10th game in London.
So a third of the games.
So, yeah, pretty much the third game of all the Jacksonville Jaguars. We've seen the Jaguars a lot. give us a break from the Jaguars, please. Because they don't tend to be very good. But the Jags have played 9 times in London. Their record is 4-5 straight up. It's also 4-5 against the spread. I've just got myself into a hole with numbers in this one because I can't get a read on what to do, which is the point of some of these stats. And the Jaguars themselves are in their last 10 against the NFC South. They are 0-10 against the spread. I've not covered the spread once in the last 10 games against NFC South teams. I'm in a whole lot. I'm going to the game, so I'm betting the game. I'm going to the game, so I'm absolutely betting the game, but I have no clue what to do. I think all I'm seeing is an over right now. Is all I can look at. I think it's 43.5. I don't think it's going to change before. Hopefully, it won't change before Sunday. But I think that's where I'm leaning. Any bets from you two on this one?
Just the one for me, and a related fun fact. So I have a bet. I might end up putting him on 2 or more touchdowns, but for now, it's just anytime touchdown. And just my related fun fact to build into it. The Kyle Pitts has scored 1/3 of his career NFL touchdowns on international soil. That is 1 out of 3. But that's pretty impressive. In his games in the US, Kyle Pitts averages 8.4 PPR fantasy points. On his games on international soil, he averaged 26.9 PPR points. Kyle Pitts' anytime touchdown is plus 270. And I don't know what he is, 2 touchdowns or more, but I've already bet him for anytime touchdown. They need to get him involved. He's got the most uncatchable targets, but it's got to come right at some point. He's dealt with Mariota, now he's dealing with Desmond Ridder. He's incredible physical tight end, and it has to come right for him at some point. He's already done it in England once, not at Wembley at the big Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So, yeah, Kyle Pitts, anytime touchdown is my bet for this game.
Excellent. Good stuff. I'm hoping, like I said, on that part, Arthur Smith just empties the chamber. Give us some entertainment at Wembley. Just go crazy. Dial up everything. Let's see what happens. Joe, anything from you on this one? Have you got any bets? Obviously, we've got our picks for our competition, which we'll touch on for each game. But yeah, any bets from your side of things lined up?
Not really, but now you've told me the weather. For 43.5 over does seem tempting if the weather is good, because like both teams, like you said, feel like they need to prove something on offense, and both teams' defense are okay to good on certain aspects. So it's time to actually score some points, and 43.5. They always put you in the right place, don't they? So I'll probably say over on that, but it's going to be tight. But yeah, I would just say over that game.
Yeah, I'm just leaning the over because I'm going. I'm not. I was feeling the Jaguars to cover the 3. I'm not so sure now, but I'm going to go the over. I'm there. I'm going to be charged. Want points. I'm there. I don't really care who wins, so just give me points. So I'm going to go the over.
Follow up Kyle Pitts plus 2,500 for 2 or more touchdowns, which is also now being backed. So
nice.
We're all in on Kyle Pitts this week.
All in on Kyle Pitts. Good stuff.
A good place to be.
On that note, he's not, well, he couldn't, but he definitely wouldn't be going in our Fantasy Gameday lineup, just with how confident you are about it. For our picks competition, let's go look. I think you two are on the same side. This one, you two gone for the Jaguars to cover. I flip-flopped. The Falcons just tend to be in close games, I think, so I'm just going to push that. I sense a push here. I can see Jaguars by 3 and it being a push. But, the line is we've cut it at +3. I've gone for the Falcons. I just think just potentially close game. And hopefully enough to cover. Excellent. Cool. Anything more to add before we move on to the next one?
Not for me.
No. Cool. I think we were going to have a Jaguars guest on this week. I think he's going to join. Can't make it, sadly. He's going to potentially join us next week for Jaguars Bills preview, because, again, we've got another London game. So hopefully we can get him here, get them on. It's a guy from the Jags Across the Pond podcast. Go give it a follow if you get a chance, and if you support the Jaguars, which makes more sense. Game of the week next. It's absolutely game of the week by a mile, isn't it? We're all excited for this one. Unbelievable. It's in the early slate. I can't believe, scandalous this isn't on Sunday Night Football. But we've got the Miami Dolphins, AFC East divisional clash against the Buffalo Bills. Dolphins are plus 2.5, and over/under is 53.5. That's flitted up to as far as 54.5. I've seen it, but it's come back down. What a game! Just what a game for Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening here.
Even if you're not going to put it on Sunday Night Football, at least put it in the Sunday late afternoon spot where there's only 3 games. Like
2 weeks in a row, we've had 3 games.
Well, 9 and 3 is a terrible ratio.
And there's an extra game in the early game because obviously there's no 2 Monday nights, so they put that in the early game. So it's just like trying to watch them all and just trying, especially this game. Because you want to watch this game, you want to like have it on and watch it all, and I probably will. But there's other games I'm like, it'd be interesting to see that as well. But
yeah. Shout out to Belushi's in Hammersmith. That's where I'm going to be watching the NFL Sunday games after I've been to Wembley. Give us some free stuff, free beer, free food. That would be great. Keep shouting you out. Not that Belushi is the giant international chain of sports bars. Need our help. You don't ask, you don't get. Dolphins Bills. What's your read on this one? Because I think it's going to be such a good game. I was pretty adamant at the start of the week with the 2.5 line on Miami, but the stats I've seen again. Stats are phasing me. Not good from a Miami perspective. History in Buffalo is not great. Recent history in Buffalo is not great. But what are you guys kind of leaning towards? What are your thoughts? What are your feelings on the game?
I think this is one that could really go either way. I mean, kind of throughout the Jets game a little for the Bills, which might be doing them a bit of a credit because they've played 2 bad teams since, but man, they've been so dominant against Washington, against Oakland, the Raiders. And they look like they're really clicking again. So they're on home field. I have gone the Dolphins plus 2.5. I think this is one where I probably went with the plus whoever had it, though. I think it could be a 1-point game. It could come down to, if it comes down to a field goal, it may well do. Because it's also, we've seen Miami this season. You're not slowing them down, I wouldn't think. It might be who has the ball last. It was last scoring possession. I think we're just in for a real early season classic.
Yeah, I mean, Dolphins have potentially already been in a game of the year contender already against the Chargers in week 1. Ridiculous performance last week. Took care of the Patriots pretty comfortably in week 2. It's ridiculous. So part of me thinks like this is a bit of a letdown spot because they went so crazy last week.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a letdown spot. The hype's all on them. If you've seen any power rankings articles this week, most people have got them up, moved to number 1. Something just tells me this is a bit of a letdown spot, and the Bills have their number. And they do recently. Obviously, the playoff game was a bit crazy. We almost had Skylar Thompson going into Buffalo and winning the wild card. It was a wild card game, wild card game in January. But I don't know. I just think that obviously the Bills are going to be offer far more resistance than the Broncos, which is a given, of course. And they're going to get a much sterner test from Josh Allen in the Bills' office than they've had in the last 2 games. We saw the Chargers be able to kind of go blow for blow with them. Match them up and down the field, and I think the Bills are capable of that. But it's going to be a good one. Joe, kind of where you sat on this one?
Yeah, I think I'm similar. I think they're playing the most complete team they've actually played. Because like you said, when against the Chargers got a great offense, defense is looking terrible, so they managed to pardon the points. They play the Patriots, who got good defense, but not a great offense. So they didn't roll Patriots. It was probably the score was pretty close to an actual game, but that might be in the Patriots offense not doing too much. But now you've got a team which can score points and can run on you, and you've got Josh Allen and also good defense as well, who they're not. I don't think they're going to stop Miami, but they could slow them down. So it's if you keep them to 25 points, then I feel like this game is on Josh Allen. I think if Josh Allen has a good to great game, then the Bills will win, because I think the Bills defense will manage to again, below 25, below 30. So if Josh Allen has one of the games he can have where he's just throwing it down the field to Diggs and all the other receivers, it's going to be. I think the Bills are going to come on top. But on the flip side, you could have the Josh Allen who played against the Jets as well, who just threw it away and went for silly throws where he didn't need to. And I wonder the other games they managed to I know they didn't start the best against the Raiders or 7 down, but they were never a close game with, the second to third quarter. I felt like if this is close, is he going to try and do something crazy where he's trying to show everyone I'm the best guy and best quarterback in this division, and try and do like a throw down the field where it's not there and get picked off, which I think he did against the Jets too many times, when he could just go for the easy throw in the middle and just keep the drive going. So I'm curious. I think this is a shout for the fantasy play is Cook, the running back, just because how much Chargers ran on the Dolphins the first game. And he's looked the better Cook by quite a long way. And he's actually looked really good this year. And it might be a reason why the Bills didn't push for another running back from any trades or from the draft. So, yeah, I'm shouting out Cook for for Sunday's game, because I think he's going to rack up some points.
He was in my list as well, because just like one extra little fun fact on him, he's got the second most rush attempts without a touchdown this year. And, does that mean that he can't get in the end zone, or does that mean that he's due? I think it's more likely that he's due. I don't think players that are good at getting yards everywhere else on the field are just inherently bad at getting them near the goal line. So I think he's got 40 plus anyway. I think it's 44 rush attempts without a touchdown this year, second most in the league. He's going to get volume. I think he's a great pick, Joe.
Yeah. I do. The one big thing for Dolphins, obviously, Waddle's back. He seems like he's out of concussion protocol, so another weapon. But Armstead wasn't in. He didn't practice yesterday, so I think it's a game time decision. So I think that's a big miss if he's not there, especially against this Bills defense. Because even though the offense line's been playing great, it's even better when you've got your stud left tackle who can, give, because it's not like Tua needs much time anyway to throw the ball, but it just helps that little bit where he might need it. So,
shout out there on that James Cook had potential. James Cook anytime touchdown plus 120, so much better than even money. And he's also £4,600 in the Fantasy Gameday app for your lineups this week. Probably due, as you said, Byron. It's wow. Again, I was just early in the week when I saw 2.5. I was all over Miami. Yeah, it's got to be Miami. But I really don't know. And actually, it's probably one I'm going to stay away from a bets perspective. I think I've picked Miami on our picks. Is that right? Yeah. Me and Byron have gone Miami. Joe's gone the Bills. And look, here's some stats maybe, Joe, that maybe goes to show why Joe's gone for the Bills. I don't know, assume he's not seen these, but if he has. So I'll give you the good for Miami first. Miami is 6-0 against the spread in the last 6. Pretty good. 5-0 against the spread in their last 5 road games. Pretty good. However, they're 1-9 straight up in the last 10 at Buffalo, which also includes 7 on the spin that they've lost straight up. Not good. The Bills are 13-2 in the last 15 straight up at home. Pretty good at home, pretty strong. And just one tidbit for this one, because I'm interested in this line where it closes as to whether I'm going to put a totals pick or not. 12 of the last 17 meetings between these two have gone over. If it stays under 54, I'm likely to, weirdly, because 54 is the total they'll need at 53.5. But there's just that stat that I pulled out last week for the Vikings-Chargers game. So that'll be the 5th time. So the 5th, since the start of last season, 2022, 5 times, including that Chargers-Vikings game last week, a game has closed with a total of 54 or more. All 5 times that game's gone under.
Weird. When I seen the FourFold sheet Joe puts together for us, I seen that number and I was like, I'm not picking it, because I was really tempted by the over as well. And I was like, no, Paul gave us the warning last week. Worked out last week.
Yeah, and being in Buffalo as well, you never know what the weather's going to be, and that plays a big effect with these teams.
Won't be as sunny as it is in London.
It might be. They'll still be wearing shorts though in Buffalo.
I think I'm not going to wear shorts because I just inherently don't wear shorts out of the house because I don't like it and I don't want people to see my skinny little chicken legs. So, what an admission on a podcast. Any other bets you're thinking of for this game?
I don't have anything for it right now.
No, just the James Cook one was a decent one you've just said, so I have to have a look into it a bit more.
But yeah, the passing yards one is an interesting one for me. So Miami have been going at 362 passing yards a game. They're they've had 550 yards of offense per game so far. I know we're only 3 weeks in, and obviously that's hugely skewed by last week. Next nearest team to them is the Chargers, a full 135 yards behind them. Offense per week, which is mad. Stat for the Bills. The Bills only shipping 11.7 points per game so far. I think there's big asterisks against that. You had Aaron Rodgers-less Jets, Raiders at home, and then the Commanders, which we saw what Sam Howell was. So, but yeah, interesting one. Yeah, I'm interested in that total. If that total hits 54, I think I'm going to go the under. I don't know why the half a point means so much to me, but it just does. It makes me comfortable with the stat, knowing that it's not been done. It's not been done for a while. So yeah, I'll keep an eye on that one. If that goes back to 50, because it's been and then came back down, and I didn't get on it when I saw it. So yeah. If that does, I'll hit the under on that one. And yeah, the pass yards, as I mentioned, as a result, especially the Miami on the line is where's two? Where are you? Passing yards. The line on 2 is 274.5. They're averaging 360. Did I say 362? And I know again that's not faced the defense as good as the Bills, but it just seems a big difference. So I'd probably lean towards the two and the over on that one as well. Wow, that's a prop actually. Yeah, really good. Cool. Any more for the game of the week before we move on? No. Excellent. Okay. So we've gone from an AFC East clash that's going to be key to deciding who wins that division come the end of the year to a AFC North clash that's also going to be key to decide who's going to win this division come the end of the year. We've got the Baltimore Ravens on the road to Cleveland against the Cleveland Browns. Ravens are 2.5 point underdogs. Over-unders 41. I think that's already come down. Yeah. Again, real big matchup, this one. We saw probably the problem that we've definitely saw the best Cleveland Browns performance from Deshaun Watson last week. Yep. Ravens look very dodgy against the Colts. What are we liking here?
I like the Browns a lot in this game. That defense has been. I seem to say it every week about a different defense: the Cowboys, the 49ers, the Browns. I don't know if there's been a more impressive defense on paper not on paper, on the field this year than the Browns. I had to start on Tuesday that they've not had a play in the red zone this season. I kind of misspoke there. They had one against Tennessee, which was an offensive giveaway that started on the 20-yard line, and every play on that drive went backwards for Tennessee. So that's the only time they had faced a red zone player, and it was one that they didn't give up. Ravens offense hits and miss, but more miss than hit, I think, so far this season. Lamar's obviously looking good and getting his fantasy points in with his rushing, but the offense isn't quite clicking, and I think, especially what I thought the Todd Monken offense might be this early in the season, I think there are ways to go from being impressive, certainly. So I think this is a real 2.5 still seems about right because the Ravens are really well coached. They're a stout team, but they are injury plagued right now, and it's going to be rough going into Cleveland against that defense. I think, yeah, Browns are one of my favorite bets of the week, I think.
I love the Ravens. I'm the complete opposite. I love the Ravens this one. And you know what? There's no stat I've pulled that's made me think that way. I just really love the Ravens in this one. I'm still not. Yes, last week's was probably the best Browns performance we've seen for a while. I don't know. I think bounce back for the Ravens. It was just a farce how they lost that game last week, and they need to get that one back. They really need that one back. And I think they go into Cleveland and I think they'll win the game, but I love the 2.5 points. I think it'll be quite low scoring as well. There was a bit of the Colts were able to pressure Lamar last week quite a lot. And if they were able to do that, then Cleveland are definitely going to be able to do that. Interesting stats are around Cleveland, and I'm trying to get it back up and find it again. But that defense, we sort of mentioned about no plays. Was it no plays in the red zone? As a defense, they've only had conversion for a new set of downs has only happened against that defense 21 times through 3 weeks. The next best defense is 41 times where a new set of downs been converted for a new set of downs. 21 times in 3 weeks, rough. So it's tough going. But I think Lamar finds a way against Cleveland. I've got nothing more than that. Then this is just vibes. pure feel, I think the Ravens go get that win back that they should have got last week against the Colts and go through, get to 3-1. Joe, how are you feeling about it? Where you seeing this one go?
Yeah, I think it's a close one. Like we've said, it's a big game especially for the Ravens, because I think this is the first of 3 away games. I think they've got Pittsburgh next week, and then they're in London against Tennessee. So, it's always tricky going away from home, and it feels like you've got to at least pick up one win, even Steelers or Browns. So I think it's a big game for them, bouncing back. I think the good news, they've got some players back. They've got Linderbaum and Stanley was in practice, and I think Marcus Williams was actually practicing, which I was shocked at, because I'm sure when he got injured, he looked like he was out for quite some time. But so they've got them back for the Browns, which is big. Especially like you said with the defense ranking, I think it's like number 1 in all categories. So it's a big game. Again, it's on, see how Deshaun Watson does it. It might have been his best game last week, but still wasn't a top 10 quarterback getting all that money. So I still think he needs to improve, and we'll see how the running game goes as well with Hunt having another week. So it should be a close game. I think the only stat I've got for you, Paul, it's a little stat.
Love a stat.
The series record between the Ravens and Browns is 35 to Ravens, 13 to the Browns. So it's been a very one-sided affair. But could this be the time when he starts changing around? And because I think I've got the Browns as well. I just think it's the defense. The defense is just looking incredible, and they just need to. Yeah, the key is basically them versus Lamar Jackson. I feel like he's going to have to run quite a lot this game to actually pick up first downs, and he's probably the secret weapon because of the injuries. And I don't know if Beckham's playing this weekend, and it's going to be a tough game for them. But I think it's going to be close. I was flip-flopping as well, so I wasn't super confident.
Yeah, I think we're due kind of to see a big Lamar performance as well. I think, and I think we've not had that yet. And I think we will get them, and I think this is the time to shine. So I said I love the Ravens for +2.5. 84% of the money is on the Ravens covering the 2.5, but only 46 of the bets. So again, that's always key for me when I see such a low percentage of the bets, but so much of the money that the sharp guys are on the right side of it, or gals, or they. I'm gonna get us cancelled.
It's not for your short, it's going to be for your pronouns. Yeah.
But yeah, when I see that especially when it's so low and it's low, less than 50%, and yet 84% of the money's on it, I think the people in the know.
A lot of money's coming on Sunday, though. So.
Yeah, it's true. It's early in the week, which is the problem with doing this so early in the week. But we have to do it to get out so people can watch it and listen to it. Cool. So would you like some stats? I've got some stats before we go to our Fantasy Gameday player for the game.
Sure, I have a couple of bets as well, but we'll do your stats first.
We stats first, then we'll cover the bets. Ravens are 12-3 against the spread in the last 15 at Cleveland. It's pretty good. Also, though, flip side of that, in their last 6 games at home, the Browns are 5-1 against the spread. The Browns' last 5 home games have all been unders. So some interesting stats there for you. Byron, kick us off then. What bets have you got for the game?
So I liked Deshaun Watson to go over 21.5 rushing yards, -110. He's hit that in 7 of his 9 games in Cleveland. And also with Deshaun Watson over 230.5 passing yards. He's hit that last 2 weeks. I think both easily achievable. So. And just in what might hopefully isn't too defensive a matchup, these are my 2 starting fantasy quarterbacks in our super flex league. So hopefully not a total defensive shutdown game.
Fair enough. I'm really liking on this one, and it's one I've been keeping an eye on. I've not gone full because what I'm going to do is I'm going to start picking every game of the week for this soon. It's the over 3.5 field goals. So 4 field goals in the game.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
I'm going to start backing it soon. Like I think the numbers are starting to level out, and it's starting to trend that way. It is +120 over 3.5 field goals. I think it's going to be a bit of defensive battle, drive stalling. Justin Tucker's on one side. The Ravens can kick it from 65 yards if they need to. Although 61 was short last week. I like over 3.5 field goals. which is good. We'll see. And then I was going to have a look at rushing attempts for Lamar because I think he's going to have to do a lot.
I did have a quick look at the team one for the Browns, but they're not up there yet. So curious what that is because I feel like it's going to be a run-heavy game.
Yeah,
for both teams.
And the other one was, so what was it? What did you have on Lamar? The passing yards, was it 230?
Both Deshaun Watson were the ones I said.
Oh, sorry, my apologies. Terrible. I wasn't listening. I was too busy looking. Lamar Jackson over 255.5 passing and rushing yards combined.
Yeah, when you said that, I thought it was just passing. I was like, I'd be taking the under there, but combined.
Yeah,
I mean, he could easily get 150 rushing.
Yeah, because his line's 48.5 rushing and 202 passing, but I like him to go a smidge over on the rushing yards. And then obviously he needs to pass a little bit as well, but I like that 255.5. Cool. He went 200 passing yards, 100 rushing yards last week. So that would, obviously, if he can repeat that, that would cover that. Be a bit trickier against the Cleveland defense. So, any other bets from
Cleveland last week?
Yeah. Joe, any bets from you on this one?
I think the only one I've just seen is Mari Cooper anytime touchdown scorer is plus 225. So maybe in a FourFold I've been checking on each week just because it feels that connection starting to get going last week. So I'd be interested if they try and get him a touchdown and the referee doesn't, blow him out when he's like a yard away.
Yeah. That was harsh last week. I also like again probably one I'll do on Sunday, but just an obligatory Mark Andrews touchdown plus 200 anytime touchdown. Pretty solid.
I think it's going to be a big Mark Andrews week if the Ravens are going to have anything joy against the offense, Browns defense.
Yeah, you back Mark Andrews touchdown every week. You're going to make money come the end of the season. Cool. We're on a run of divisional games here at the minute, aren't we? Let's go to our next game. And I think this one could be a sneaky fun game, actually. I think, Tampa Bay Buccaneers going to the Superdome to play the Saints. We have got the Buccaneers plus 3, over under 40.5. I think this is going to end up being quite a fun game. I think we're going to have Jameis. We've got Baker. He had a rough night against the Eagles, but he had 2 pretty good performances before that. We've got Alvin Kamara back. I think this is going to be a fun one.
I think I'm the opposite. I think this is going to be a slog. I think it's just going to be a low-scoring game. That's why, because I think he's dropped down to 39.5 now, the over.
Yeah.
I just think how Baker played. Like, I know he had, first 2 weeks, he did well, but he was against a good defense against the Eagles last week, and New Orleans defense. I think they're ranked 9th overall. So I think it's going to be another slog. And the Saints haven't really given up that many points to good offenses. I know they went a bit haywire last week in the fourth quarter against Green Bay, but for 3 quarters they were shutting them out. So I think I can't really see Baker going up and down the field against the Saints. And the only thing I have with the Saints, it wasn't looking as good as I thought it would with Derek Carr. Is he going to look any better with Winston? I'm not quite sure. I think Kamara being back is going to be huge. I think he's going to get a lot of the ball. I think he's going to get a lot of short throws as well when Winston's, panicking and he's just like dumps it off to Kamara a lot. But yeah, I think it's going to be like an 18-15, that kind of low-scoring game. I don't think there's going to be that many touchdowns just because it feels like the best unit for each team is the defense.
You know how you negate, the loss of Derek Carr. Yes, you're going to have Jameis playing. You get Taysom Hill involved a lot more. I think we're going to see so much Taysom Hill, which is what instantly makes it a fun game to watch. Watching Taysom Hill's great. You tell me there's nobody that doesn't have fun. There isn't anybody that sits watching Taysom Hill and is bored by it. The guy's great. He's a great watch. And I don't know what we're going to get for receiving, total yards on Taysom Hill, because I like that because I think it's going to be a huge part of the game plan this week.
But is the what's the head coach is saying? Is he as good as scheming up than what Sean Payton was? That's the only thing I worry about.
I mean, probably not. No, but
yeah.
Taysom will take care of it.
Yeah, just give him the ball. We'll see what happens. It'll just
out there. Yeah. Wildcat Taysom Hill. That's all I need to see.
Throws it to Winston down the field.
Throws it to himself.
And if you think the Saints are going to win this week, don't know if you do, Paul, but Taysom Hill to score any time touchdown and Saints to win is plus 425, which is a better bet than you're going to get on just Saints winning.
Oh, nice. Good value, yeah. Good stuff. There's no yards line up for Taysom Hill. That's a disgrace.
They seem to have taken down everything. Saints, line-wise, yardage, props. I don't know if there's some news on Derek Carr we might be missing.
I don't think they've ruled him out yet. I'm guessing that might be it. It feels like they have ruled him out now.
No, I was asking you.
Oh, no, I haven't seen any ways definitely being ruled, but it feels like he is. It's like one of them things like, we'll pretend that he might play. So
that's how it feels, yeah.
And it's how the other team probably knows he's got a fucked up shoulder. Yeah, play him. He's not going to be able to throw it. Why not? You know what I mean?
But it's annoying because we can't get any yardage things on Carr or Winston because the Bucs don't want to release it.
Yeah. Look, probably one for me. All right, I think this is going to be a really, really fun game. I think what we might see, because again we're going to see Winston, and if Baker's, I think we're going to see potentially a lot of turnovers. Tampa have just given up running the ball as well. Just don't. It's just pointless. Just don't bother. You've not been able to run it for kind of 2 years, and I get it's different when you've got Tom Brady sat there. I appreciate that, but you need to find a running game. But they just don't bother. They're on. What are they? How many? What are we on rushing yards per game for Tampa? Somehow they're not the worst in the NFL. It feels like they should be. They are 78 yards a game so far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th worst. What's that? 27th, 26th, 27th in the NFL. Somehow Houston, Cincinnati, the Steelers, Vikings, and Raiders are all worse than them at rushing the ball. But yeah, I don't know. I've just got a funny feeling that this is going to be a kind of a good game and a bit of an explosion points. The over's low, the line's low for the total. I can see this over being 45 plus point game. I clearly am on my own in that, but.
I have it as an over. It's in my FourFold.
Yeah, nice. And is that just because it's such a low number?
It's largely because it's such a low number, yeah. I found it really tough this week finding an over and an under. I don't know, the lines, maybe Vegas is getting smart. It's a few more weeks in the season, but I felt more confident the first few weeks. This week I found it real tough to find one, and I thought, I don't know, I can see the Saints getting 27 points, and then you don't need much from the Bucs.
Well, it's like I said, it's 39.5 now, so it's even dropped a point. So
thankfully, I didn't put my FourFold on last night. I'll be doing it today. So
especially if you're devastated, it comes at 40.
With our picks, so we've gone for, we didn't cover the last. I know we did talk about the last game. So you two have gone for the Saints. I've gone for the Buccaneers. The Saints are 0-2-1 against the spread so far. They had that push last week. Was it last week? No, they had the push week.
The Monday Night Football, yeah.
The Monday Night Football was the push, yeah.
They had the Packers, didn't they?
Yeah, and that was just depending when you got it. But I guess at closing, they didn't cover. It was a push for me, but yeah, they didn't cover. But yeah, 0-1 against the spread so far. I like Tampa. I think Tampa can win the game. I'll take them with a +3, so I think it'll be close as well. Should be a fun one. Any bets that you've got on this one, guys?
No, I think the Saints will win. I think they'll cover the 3, and I do like that Taysom Hill bet. He's due to get in the end zone. I think Kamara's going to get a lot of usage, but there's no market up for this kind of thing with the QB uncertainty. So I'm certainly interested in him. He's my game day recommendation as well, but Fantasy Gameday. But yeah, I like that Taysom Hill line plus 425. Just feels like he's due to have a fun game. Come on.
Yes, I agree. That was going to be my pick as well, just because and Vita Vea is not practicing as well. So, you've got the big man in the middle out. So it just feels like it's going to be a Kamara kind of game. I'm interested, like Mike Evans is plus 200 for any time touchdown. And it feels like anyone who scores touchdown is probably going to be Mike Evans because he hates the Saints as well. So it feels like it's going to be a good matchup between him and Lattimore, I'm guessing again. So it should be feisty.
I was going to say, when he get ejected or catch a touchdown, maybe both.
And it's a Jameis Winston revenge game, by the way. That's never a revenge game.
That's what I was looking for. What's the interception? Jameis,
I guess I'll definitely throw one. I love Mike Evans. Yeah, Mike Evans has got a touchdown in each of the 3 games so far. Studying, I always love getting Mike Evans in fantasies. I'm pretty sure I get him every year in our league. I end up with Mike Evans. He's going to be in a Hall of Fame wide receiver. He's fantastic. So he's going to get another 1,000 yards. He's going to get 10 to 12 touchdowns. He's going to have a great year.
He's going to be a free agent.
He's going to be a free agent. Yeah, maybe you can go get another ring from somewhere. Any more for the AFC South game, Bucs Saints, before we move on? Cool. All right. This also, I think, will be a fun one. New England Patriots heading to Jerry World to play the Dallas Cowboys, coming off that horrendous loss against the Cardinals. Cowboys are 7-point favorites. Over/under is 43. I'll go last on this one, but yeah, how are we feeling about Patriots Cowboys? It's the 9:00 Sky game because that late slate's not great again, is it?
It's another revenge game, isn't it? You know, Ezekiel Elliott against his former team.
Brandon Cooks.
Oh, there you go. There's probably lots of different. Well, Brandon Cooks is like a revenge game every week, isn't it?
Brandon Cooks has got like 6 revenge games a season.
He's got vengeance on his mind weekly. Yeah.
But no, I think it's a good game for Cowboys in a sense that they're playing a good defense who's ranked 5th overall, and it's a game where it's a get right game where if Dak plays well here, it's like okay, we're back to being one of the best teams, especially having San Fran again next week. So you are playing another good defense. So yeah, it's a big test for the offense, and I think they need to step up and it's a prove it. Are they actually going to be good enough for the Dallas to contend? Because if they have a stinker next week, then you're like, oh, actually, if they play any decent defenses, this offense gets stuck. But on the flip side, I expect the Cowboys line to just eat up Patriots offensive line. It's not been great. And, Matt Jones is not going to win it. I think this game is more, can he just not lose it? And it's going to be, I'm curious how the running game works for the Patriots, because I expected a big year for Stevenson as well. And it's just not happened. I don't know if that's the offensive line or whatnot. So there's a few aspects of the game I'm curious to see what happens, because, if Cowboys lose this, then it's... I think it's crashing down.
The noise in Dallas, if the Cowboys don't win here, the noise around Mike McCarthy in particular is going to get loud.
I did see on Twitter this week there was some screenshots of Cowboys Facebook of maybe it's time to give Trey Lance a go.
Oh, God.
And as soon as Dallas lost the game, it was coming.
Just for the San Fran game. Another revenge game next week.
It's the noise around Mike McCarthy, because it was just so. It's not that you just lost last week. They were so bad, and the offense was so bad in the red zone. Yeah. Jerry Jones came out this week. He was trying to dampen it down. That it's the red zone struggles aren't a long-term thing. Trying to do his bit in the media, but it is a problem. I expect them to struggle again in the red zone. I think this is tough, and I've gone Cowboys in our picks just out of pure loyalty. I think the Patriots probably will cover this game, and it'll be a close one just because they are a relatively good defense. I haven't seen anything out of Dallas to fill me with confidence from an offensive perspective. The defense got last week by the Cardinals. Yes, the Patriots got problems, O-line. But Zeke got going last week. I think he was 16 touches for 80 yards on the ground.
Mm-hmm. I would only say, I wonder if it's like a kick up the ass what the Cowboys defense needed, because people are comparing them to the 85 Bears. This is the best defense and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, exactly. It's a bit like this week they might be we can't rest on the laurels and we can't just think we're going to cruise this game like we have been doing. So I wonder if the Patriots have got them at the wrong time that they probably wanted them last week in terms of offense versus defense.
Yeah. I think, you're right. I think they've had a week to adjust with no Diggs and Spear. Obviously, he went down quite late in the week last week, didn't he? So they've had a week to adjust with that. But I just feel that it's just the line's already moved to 6.5. That's slightly concerning. It might make me lean to actually bet Dallas, though. But
that's slightly concerning.
Yeah, but that's also slightly concerning. There's just a piece where I'm very, very worried because I think it's so important that Dallas win this one, because they're not in a good state to go to San Francisco in week 5. You sat here 2-3, Jesus Christ! After the
and you can't go 2-2 when you're trying to keep up with the Eagles.
Yeah. You've already thrown one away. You're relying on the Eagles doing something stupid, which
I think if you go 2
the Eagles twice.
Yeah, I think you go 2-3, you're a bit like, okay, we're aiming for the fifth pick, and hopefully the NFC South gets the 4th, and we get an easy wildcard game, and then lose to the Niners at their place again. So
I talked about the preseason. That's exactly how the season will go. They won't win the division. They'll win they'll get another playoff win on the road, which will be good against Tampa, New Orleans, whoever wins that division, Atlanta, and then just get whooped by the Eagles or the Niners, whichever one's the 2 seed. Which is not a good place to be, or the 3 seed. 2 seed? Yeah, but it's 2 seed, wasn't it? Anyway, yeah.
Can I ask, as a Cowboys fans as well, that with Pollard apparently had the most touches and rushes as well? Yeah, carries and touches. Is that like a slight concern that they're leaning so heavily on him this start of the season and they're not getting anyone else involved? That is, they don't want to break him down.
They got Dowdle involved last week, didn't they? He scored the touchdown, and we saw a bit of juice Vaughn in the first couple of weeks. Just think the way the game was going last week, that to kind of just keep Pollard in there, I suppose. But yeah, no, I think you need to be. You've got kind of 3 very different running backs there, and I think you need to be a bit more creative, and that's the key word in terms of how you get them into the game plan. Like Mike McCarthy's play calling in the red zone. They moved the ball between the 20s. Great last week. But inside that red zone, it was just turgid, predictable.
Would you say it's the wide receivers, though? Like, if, CeeDee Lamb's not getting it, like, who else is? Like, I think you mentioned last week with no tight end, not having Dalton Schultz, like, the comfort blanket, that the other wide receivers are not really stepping up when it matters in the red zone.
I think that's fair. Yeah, if it's not CeeDee Lamb, it's not anyone. We've seen flashes from Gallup. Not really seen too much of Cooks yet, have we?
No.
So it'll be traded soon. So it's part of a revenge game.
Yeah, I'm expecting. I thought Jake Ferguson would have would kind of hit the ground running, and I don't think he has at all. Schoonmaker's more of a blocking tight end, isn't he? We're not really seeing a lot from him either in the passing game, and Hendershot's not been on the field that much, has he? I don't think so far. So yeah, some problems they need to work out, but they need to get to them quickly, because there's games that they need to give themselves a shot in here that are going to affect kind of later on in the year and a potential postseason. You still, I don't think there's a world where Dallas don't make the playoffs out of the NFC, but yeah.
I would say the good thing is they've got a few of the offensive linemen back as well,
and that's key. Yeah, key. They missed. It was 3 last week, wasn't it? 3 at the starting line. But there's not many NFL teams that can navigate that, I don't think. So yeah, that should settle things down, and we'll probably see a better offensive performance as a result. Prescott needs a big game from confidence perspective, I think. Before the noise starts on him. Anything else on the game before we go to our picks and the bets?
I've got a few bets for this game.
Go for
it. Tony Pollard anytime touchdown, Cowboys win is plus 100. Pollard hasn't scored a touchdown since week 1, so I think he's due. I think in a lot of circumstances he would have scored last week. He was off the field when Dowdle scored, which I think he could certainly do what Rico Dowdle did last week. So I like Mac Jones over 0.5 interceptions at minus 130. Obviously, I'd rather have a plus number there, but I think if the Patriots get into need to catch up mode, is a Stephon Gilmore revenge game. Just to keep that narrative going.
Every game's a revenge game in the NFL, isn't it?
We'll find one. Yes, I think you don't want Mac Jones have to throw the ball against his defense. I think there's a very good chance he scores gives Dallas the ball. And then 2, one kind of fun, one kind of I just think good value. Jake Ferguson anytime touchdown is plus 300. Again, need to get him involved near the end zone. Need to get some more passing weapons involved. I think he's the obvious target to do so. I think plus 300 is a good price. And then just pure narrative, Zeke is plus 245.
That's touchdown, nice. There's one I had a look at just on the props. Pollard over 18.5 receiving yards. I realize that's one screen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I really like that one.
The volume he gets.
Yeah, and if you can get 3, if you can get three or 4 passing targets, I'll really like that 19 yards that he needs. And yeah, I mean, if that number keeps coming down, I like if it stays at 6.5, I probably will back Dallas. The seven number makes me a bit scared just for the push. But yeah, I probably will. But I think the Patriots will keep it relatively close. Defense is pretty good. What have we got? Are we all on the Cowboys -7 for our against spread picks? Who we liking from a fantasy game day perspective?
Who do we even like?
Yeah, I'm not
that's the thing. I try and stay away from when two defenses and the offenses are not firing. One of my bets I might look in, because I managed to get Aaron Donald sacked last weekend for a decent price. I might see what Parsons sack over 0.5 sack is during the game, just with the Patriots offensive line and Mac Jones not being the most mobile or creative quarterbacks. I might see what the price is at, see if if it's like plus 110 was what I got for Donald last week. So if it's something similar, just chuck it on double money and happy days.
There's none of the Dallas defenders are on the defensive. That's weird. And there's no sacks lineup yet.
Yeah, we might have to check out Sunday morning.
Yeah, cool. All right. Well,
a little sneaky one as well. I've done this a couple of times. That have come close but not hit yet this year. Dallas to win the first half to 0 is plus 650. I don't expect the Patriots to come flying out of the box. Dallas defense got fire up the butt after last week. They've been talking about how they need to go and show what they are. I think that Mac Jones interception might come early, and I think that seemed like a good bet to me.
One that I like. So the team totals: Patriots under 19.5.
Yeah,
it's minus 150, and Dallas over 23.5, minus 165. Quite like those. We hit one of those on the Eagles last week. And there is. I want to say it's the field goals again, but I can't find it now. But as always, keep an eye on our social media, Instagram, Twitter/X, and you'll see our bets before the games each day. Thursday, Sunday, Monday. Early, late, whatever. Yeah. Oh, I can't remember if I shared, and I don't mind sharing this on the podcast. I got told off by Universal Music for including some Taylor Swift music, which Instagram allowed us to use because you can just search in the app, and because it's now linked to my personal Facebook account. I think it's because it went on there. But again, same company, same rights. I'd assume. I've got a snot email from Facebook about from Universal Music.
Maybe so Taylor Swift. Yeah, maybe Taylor Swift's a fan. She was like getting into NFL. Let's choose a podcast to listen to, and ended up on here, but wasn't too happy with the music we were playing.
I don't know much of a fan if she's.
Well, she may have not liked it last week, so might have been listening to this.
Don't need the Swifties. Don't. Yes, well done. Don't need the Swifties as enemies, but also, I mean, Universal Music can go fuck itself.
You might be in the studio. I've been seeing Lovely Taylor twice in my life. I'll think you can Swiftie.
Any other word, and we'll get her on as a guest.
Exactly.
I'll do my best, mate. If I get to Taylor Swift, though, I think.
You'll not be doing this podcast.
Who needs Travis Kelce?
Excellent. Right. Sale of Travis Kelce shirts has gone through the roof as well this week, apparently. Yeah.
Something to burn when the inevitable happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and their podcast has also gone to the #1 sports podcast this week. It overtook part of my take. Is it all just a marketing scam? Is it really a love story? Who knows? We'll see.
Yes.
Right, we'll stop that. We promise no more Taylor Swift puns. Where are we? Right, I forgot a game because I forgot about it before. And it's not one I actually particularly want to talk about because it's going to be absolutely rancid. It might end up being a fun game, but I think we all know it's not going to be. It is the Denver Broncos against Chicago Bears. I'll try and say that with some enthusiasm. I'm sorry. Our last game that we're going to have a look at is the Denver Broncos at the Chicago Bears. It's back into the early slate. The Broncos are on the road and minus 3-point favorites. Explain that one for me, please, guys. Over unders 46.
I'll explain it. They're playing the Chicago Bears, Paul. That's why.
Ship 70, get beat by 50, and then you're on the road the next week, and you're a 3-point favorite. Yeah, it's wild.
I think it's more because I was looking at a few stats today, just looking at where they were ranked, and I think obviously the Broncos defense is ranked dead last, but their offense strangely is ranked 15th overall, while the Bears are 29th in both. So the Bears are bad at both. The Broncos at least got an average offense. I'm guessing that's where it's coming to. But I think I recommended this game because I don't think we're ever going to talk. We might not talk about Broncos and Bears again.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about these two teams again.
Exactly. So let's do it. Yeah, let's do them together and just. It should be like it might be an interesting game. Might be who gets the first overall pick, who's the first person to get fired, offensive coordinator, either team. So we'll see what it's like.
Defensive coordinator.
Yeah, exactly.
Are we still any clue on what he actually did yet?
No.
Okay. Can't wait for that one to come out. We need a 30 for 30 on that one. If we're going to talk about this game, let's talk about these teams. Let's talk about it properly. Let's give the Broncos and
the respect they don't deserve.
The respect, yeah. It's just some sort of respect. Not right. Let's start with the Broncos. Not particularly gone well for Sean Payton, has it so far? He's going to come in, sort all these problems out. They seem to be worse than they were under Nathaniel Hackett, and I didn't think that was possible. Any bright spots for the Broncos? You mentioned it, Joe. Actually, offensively, they came back again. They scored 30 points against the. Jesus Christ, I'm going to get cancelled. The Commanders. I know, I nearly said it. The Commanders.
I think it's just been average. Yeah, I think it's just been average, which was better than last year. I think Russell Wilson's looked better, but not good enough to win games. So there's bright spots. I think Mims has looked really good for a rookie, and I'm curious what the better for like a special team anytime. I even can see a special team like punt return to win this game. Be curious to see what the odds are for that.
7-0.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 7-0.
Well, I mean, okay, the defense isn't that bad. It's not going to be 7-0. I think we might get an over here, actually, just because the defense isn't that bad.
Not much would surprise me this week in this game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's similar. It could be like a trudger 6-3, 10-7, or it could be something like a 30 to 28 weird and wonderful last-minute touchdown. Like you say, Sean Payton, I think he's 0-3. I think the last time someone started as bad as him with Broncos was Vic Fangio, who obviously just beat him up in the last game. So I guess he doesn't want that record of being the joint worst Broncos head coach. But it feels like these teams have not gone anywhere for the last few years. So it's it's a curious one. Too bad. Yeah. Feels like you always feel like Denver's has done a lot better the last 10 years because obviously they had a few Super Bowls, but the last 7 years they haven't even got a winning record. So it's two teams which are not going anywhere, and it feels like, especially Denver, I'm curious if they're going to actually ship any of their players off, trade any of them in a few weeks if it carries on like this, because obviously given a first round pick for Sean Payton hasn't quite worked out yet.
Who have they got to trade?
Probably Sutton.
Sutton.
A few of the cornerbacks.
Oh, so you wouldn't trade Satine, would you?
Yeah.
Depends what you get offered, I guess.
Yeah.
Ideally not.
Yeah. So, Joe, your special team or defensive touchdown scored in the game plus 215.
There you go.
What's on DraftKings? I don't have a touchdown markers up right now. My Fantasy Gameday tip is Marvin Mims as wide receiver. I think he's going to get more involved. There's been a few little hints out of beat writers that he's going to get more involved this week. He's the most efficient wide receiver in the NFL this season on very limited usage, but he's shy. He shouldn't be playing for a team like the Broncos. The way he's been, his numbers don't indicate a team that is garbage. If you have a player that's playing that well, immediately he should be featured. I don't understand it, but I think I'm going to be starting Marvin Mims in fantasy this week and hope that they use their brains and feature him a little more. I'm interested in what his anytime touchdown number is. I can't pull it up myself because DraftKings have been pernickety, but
give me a second. Marvin Mims on the Fantasy Gameday app is available for £3,200.
Smash, that is a bargain. Even if he gets 2 snaps, he'll probably get a touchdown.
Yeah, you needed to fill the time a bit better for that while I go look for your price. Marvin Mims anytime touchdown plus 333.
Cool. Sorry, it took me a minute to realise what you said there. I was like 333. How many? For a minute, though, I added an extra digit. What? Plus 3,300. Oh my god! Put the bank on, Paul. Never mind. Never mind going to London.
Plus 333.
I did an extra digit somehow, and I was so confused. But yeah, I love that price as well.
I'll do it in old money if you want, rather than odds. I think we should probably go back to old money as well, by the way, instead.
I still struggle a little with the plus and minus of everything. If it's pluses, I do it easily. The minuses,
pluses easy, it's the minuses,
yeah. It screws in my head. And also, just like plus 333, I just get.
I don't think I've ever seen that before, so yeah, it's an odd one, yeah. So 3 1/3 to 1.
7-2.
7-2. Yeah, 7-2. Yeah, is what I was trying to say. Yeah, in old money. Anything else about like Chase Claypool got himself a touchdown last week?
He actually cared this time. I don't know. I think if the Bears actually like score and go up and down the field, is that Vance Joseph sacked after 4 weeks? It's like for the worst offense.
There could just be a scapegoat, couldn't he? Never.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Because he was the head coach at Broncos, was he the head coach at Broncos? Vance Joseph.
Vance Joseph wasn't he?
Yes, that's it's so weird that is.
Yeah, he was the head coach. I think he was part of those 7 years, which had a winning record, and then comes back and is still stinking up the place. It's I think that's about it. To be honest with that, okay.
We've talked a lot about the Broncos. Let's talk about the Bears just a little bit. Been a rough old start. And I think probably the difference is so much optimism for Chicago. And look, I think there's a bit, and we discussed it in the review. There's got to be a call made at some point around it. When do you just blow this up? Because it's that bad. I don't think it's salvageable.
But is it one of them things where, like, I think what I've been hearing from like Bears fans is like, I think they've already given up on Fields. I think they're just it's the mental side he's not getting. He's just not quick enough. I think you mentioned, Paul, on Tuesday that he's just throwing. His only people he's throwing open is people who are wide open, like they were at college. He can't do the anticipation. But I'm curious if you just stick with him so you do get the number 1 pick. Like, do you try and salvage this and get, awkwardly get the 5th pick? And I know you have another first round pick, so you have to give up to get the first round, or you don't get the best quarterback. So I'm just curious if you just stick with Fields and just get the number 1 pick and then blow it up in the offseason rather than trying to do that mid-season, because it's not like the one player away. They're not like, if we get rid of Fields. It's not like the Jets, for example. If they get a quarterback, it could change it around. If the Bears get a quarterback, they're still going to be the Bears. They're still going to have one of the worst defenses and offenses. So just stick with it and get your number 1 pick. I think that's.
If I'm a rookie quarterback in the draft, I'm praying not to go there. So and that's the problem where I think if you have a bad year, and there's a few quarterbacks right in that draft. It's not just Caleb Williams, but there's a few quarterbacks that look like they're going to be pretty decent. The worry is you deal with Fields, whatever, try and get something back for him or whatever. You put another rookie quarterback in there, I don't think it changes the situation. Fields is bad, yes, but everything else is bad. The coaching's bad. The team around him actually is bad. Should be a lot better than it was, but it just isn't.
But does it matter?
It's looked terrible this week with the resurfacing of the videos of them celebrating getting a 4th round to move down from Jalen Carter for Darnell Wright. And Darnell Wright has had some snaps where he's looked pretty good. I don't think he's been a huge success overall, but it just feels like there's nothing right in Chicago.
No.
But like from Chicago's point of view, you want that quarterback. You don't really care that. Like, I understand what you're saying. Like most rookie quarterbacks who go in the top 5 are going to go to a bad team. It's unlikely that. But certain teams, like you look at Peyton Manning, he came to Colts and he was a terrible team, and it took him 4 or 5 years before they became good. The Bears are going to think that as well. You're probably going to have a new head coach because you can't stick with Eberflus again. So I understand what you're saying, and I think they need like a whole blow up of the whole team. But at the end of the day, it's a quarterback league, and if you get the best one in the draft, and if he hits, because you never know. Like, it's not like Trevor Lawrence is being good, but when he was coming into, everyone thought, well, Jags are going to be one of the best teams coming up. But again, he might be one where it's like 5 or 6 years down the line, and they've build the team around him. Once they've got your quarterback, then that's when he's ready, rather than just plugging him. Got
a competent head coach.
Yeah, well, yeah. So that's next year as well. I think the Bears need to get offensive.
They need a clear out.
Yeah, 100%.
Just a full. And I kind of feel for Justin Fields because, like in the same way, I think I said this the other day. I feel for Sam Darnold, who had such a terrible coaching start in the NFL. Baker Mayfield to a degree as well. Baker Mayfield had 9 offensive coordinators in his NFL career. What chance do you give these players when that's their introduction into the league? And even players like Trey Lance, who for all intents and purposes, as good of a coaching background as you could want. He still never got the chance through injury, and he's just a bust. Like, it's unlikely Trey Lance is ever going to live up to the capital. Well, he's not going to live up to that capital ever. And it just takes 2 rough years, and you kind of washed. If Justin Fields had gone to a good situation and had good coaching all along.
Yeah, I am curious. Because apparently, pre-draft, this was the biggest concern because he had obviously a higher quarterback. He had the best wide receivers overall when our number 1. The biggest worry was, could he throw with anticipation? And that year's quarterback draft in the first round is not looking amazing.
Mac Jones looked like the second best one.
Exactly, yeah. And that's not saying much.
I don't like Mac Jones.
Fields out the 2021 draft, yeah. So
it was Lawrence, Lance. Who went second? Wilson. Zach Wilson,
Matt
Fields, and Fields, yeah. And I think the next 2 were like David Mills and I can't remember who the other one was as well. There was another one who weren't. It wasn't a good quarterback draft.
And I suppose talk about Chicago as well. Talk about pointless getting a rookie, or a high draft pick rookie, but also it's not as if you can go get somebody in free agency either. It's Kirk Cousins, Ryan Tannehill. They're probably going to hit free agency, and that's kind of it. So, you're pretty stuck.
And I think that they need to start hitting on the coaches, because I do think free agents now, with the more money involved, if it's like $1 million difference, it's like, I'd rather go to Miami than play for Chicago Bears, for example. And it feels like the Bears never pick an exciting head coach. I can't remember them ever having and I love Lovie Smith was good back in the day, but again, the league's changed. So are they going to go for someone, like a Mike McDaniels, that kind of quality offensive thing, or are they just going to go for a defensive who's been at 3 different teams, not made it, and they'll just maybe this time.
I think the exciting name that went for a few years ago was Mark Trestman, because he was
just about to say that. The CFL's Mark Trestman, yeah.
He's a quarterback guru
in the CFL.
Aaron Rodgers at Cal, maybe. I think he was. I'm sure he was a quarterback whisperer, which was why he was exciting, and he was just flamed out. I don't think he had a winning season. I think he was only there 2 years, to be fair, but I don't think. There's a lot of bad teams in the NFL, but the Bears just feel permanently snake bitten. They're just a bit like the Jets and I guess the Broncos have had successes, but the Chargers who they get themselves to where you think it's going to be good, and then it just another year where we're 2 weeks in. I mean, even after 1 week this year, that opening game to Green Bay is just with all that excitement you had this summer where Justin Fields was going to turn it on, DJ Moore's the best receiver he's ever had, it's going to be great, and it's just nah, you suck. Another year of shit. Sorry, Chicago.
It was almost as much as the difference if they just find a way to win that game. He's wild in the minute, but it was almost the worst game it could have been for them. The Packers, if it had been the Lions or the Vikings or something,
And especially the first game of the Jordan Love era, Rodgers is out of town. The narrative's here. We're going to take it, and then they just got embarrassed. And they've been embarrassed every week since.
Yeah, okay, let's move on for this. It's making me sad. Why, Byron, why have you done it as well? Why have I picked the Bears in this? Why have I picked the Bears?
This was the one. I seen Joe's message 10 minutes till lock, but I seen it 90 minutes later. I was going to switch to the Broncos. But I've got the Bears on, so I'll stick with the Bears, obviously. I'm not going to ask Joe to redo his graphics, but and the Broncos might win by 1 or 2. Who knows?
Byron, why don't you just do a poll and put your money on the Broncos so you win either way? You know what I mean?
Well, one of my bets is Russell Wilson over 1.5 touchdowns plus money, which I'm kind of stunned by.
Wild.
Plus 114, which is an odd number. Well, it's an even technically, but it's an unusual number. But over 1.5 touchdowns. He's got that 3 of his last 4 games, and I don't know why. It's going to be a beautiful day in Chicago. There's no bad weather. It's going to be 78 degrees, so it's going to be 7F higher than in London even. I mean, so definitely.
I don't want to be known as the weather podcast. We're not
I also I don't care what you do with Justin Fields the rest of the year. Well, I do care what you do with Justin Fields the rest of the year in terms of I hope he develops, yada, yada, yada. Just get him doing what he can do. And he's over 58.5 rushing yards.
Yeah, I like that. Get him running.
You can't throw the ball. Try and have some fucking fun and just try and get some competent football played.
And they were fun, right? Bearing in mind they lost 9 games. Was it 9 games in a row to finish last season?
Yeah.
They were still fun.
Yeah.
those games got a bit crazy. Fields, you'd see the highlight reel. Like, it was fun.
Yep.
So get back to that, please, Chicago. Stop trying to make him a pocket passer. He ain't got it. He can't do it. Just get him running. It's fun to watch. And we like to bet the over on Fields rushing yards prop. So get him running.
58 is a low number. So yeah,
58 seems a lot. Yeah, I think you just have to get him running now. Because you also need to try and get the fans back on side as well.
Yeah.
Cool. Right, we've talked about that game for far too long. We're going to get to a 2-hour episode here because we've got loads to cover yet. Let's move on to our FourFold picks. Rancid week for me last week, 0-4. Byron, you hit a 4-0 week, which was nice. Joe, you've hit 2 4-0 weeks so far, 2 FourFold hits. So we've hit one every. I say we've hit one every week. And then we've got a guest that you heard at the start of the episode, Gary Thorpe, big Niners fan as well, Joe, with his picks as well. So I didn't talk him out. He talked himself out of the Niners as his favourite. So we'll start with the favourites, and we'll touch on the games we haven't talked about, which is every single game in here, I think, bar 1 or 2. So I'm on the Chiefs -9.5. Taylor Swift's going to be at MetLife, apparently, on Sunday Night Football. The Jets are bad. The Chiefs are good. The Chiefs are going to come mine at 9.5. If it got to 10, I'd have left this game, but I like the Chiefs to win by 10, I think. Chiefs with them big spreads haven't got a good record.
Yeah, I was going to go the Chiefs as well as the favourites, but then, I saw you picked in. I thought I'll stay away from that, with your record. That's
not how you should be doing these picks, Joe.
No, I was thinking more if Paul thinks that. Jesus Christ, what am I doing? But no, I agree. I just think, because I think Chiefs defense is good enough to, keep Jets down to 10 and under. And I think the Chiefs can get 21 points, basically, and more. So I think I've got the Chiefs to win that as well, but not picked in
Chiefs rolling. Apparently, some reports yesterday coming out of New Jersey, because it's New Jersey, let's call it what it is, that the rest of the locker room has lost its patience with Salah and his loyalty to Zach Wilson, and it seems like he's potentially on the verge of a bit of a revolt. I think one more nightmare performance from Zach Wilson, and we're going to see Trevor Siemian.
I think the problem is after the games, he's still like, I understand why he's bigging him up. Yeah, but I think the thing is, what I've heard is that the defense, like if we played anywhere near that, we wouldn't even be on this team. We would have got rid of. So, of course, he was going to be my loser of the week when we did the review last week, just because I think he just needs to get off.
We missed that last week, didn't we?
Yeah.
The episode was way long, so we can need that. Yeah, well, that'll be back for week 4.
Yeah, so just because, he just needs to get rid and just try something new. Even like Mike White was better last year, and that must say a lot, you know what I mean? So
Mike White's awesome, by the way. But
Mike White had 2 pass attempts and had more fantasy points than Zach Wilson last week.
Excellent, cool. Byron, you're on Raiders Chargers. We haven't talked about this one. Again, that's one I like. To be fair, Chargers -5.5. Yeah,
I already bet it at the start of the week when it was -6. I just think, Mike Williams, fair enough, but could be a bit of a stomp down game. The Raiders are awful. Jimmy Garoppolo might not.
Concussion protocol, isn't he, as well?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to make it. It seems to have been a bit of a trend this year. If you're in the concussion protocol, you don't play Sunday. I don't know if that's an NFL thing, like they're trying to make it more safe to make sure players sit more. I don't know, but
it could
also be a coincidence.
He completed the game Sunday, and it was after, wasn't it? Is it going to be Brian? Is it Brian Hoyer?
I believe so. It's either going to be Brian Hoyer or Aiden O'Connell.
Aiden O'Connell from Purdue, yeah.
I'm happy with that if it's Jimmy Garoppolo, truthfully.
It's moved to -5.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised by that, yeah. So.
I don't know. So the Chargers do have some injuries. We don't know if Eckler's going to be back. I think Joey Bosa. It's Joey Bosa's not practiced. Khalil Mack's not practiced. Derwin James. So it might just be that. But even with that, I still,
it's a lot, but
I think it's just the Chargers, isn't it?
It's harder, obviously, with those injuries. But if it's not Jimmy G, -5 just seems crazy to me.
Yeah, I wonder if it's just the Chargers. Chargers. I don't think it's anything to do with the Raiders. It's just more like Chargers managed to have these close games when they should be winning by plenty more points. I'm guessing that's the.
If we're looking for a bargain tight end for Fantasy Gameday as well, Donald Parham is hitting the end zone. There's no big Mike Williams. He's 8 foot tall. He's very much a bargain.
Was the other one that was out as well. I'm not sure Gerald Everett's going to make it and play.
Yeah, so Don Palmer's going to get his targets, and he always seems to catch a touchdown when he gets a couple of targets. So, again, we've gone with pretty low price players for our Fantasy Game Day tips, but I just think if you need another one, I'd certainly consider Donald Palmer.
I really love Herbert this week as the quarterback for that. He may be ours, but yeah, I really like. I've seen the matchup, and yeah, I think it's just a good one. I know I lost Williams, but especially if Eckler's back as well. Yeah, love Herbert. Cool, that's your favourite. Joe, you've gone Vikings, Panthers. This is a battle of 0-3 teams.
I think Vikings have been close against good teams. I think that they play the Eagles and the Chargers within the run. Who else did they lose to? Oh, Tampa Bay, obviously they're another team. But I just think with Andy Dalton not playing and
is Bryce back in? Yeah,
Bryce is back in. So I was a bit like, with Bryce coming back in with that offensive line, I know the Vikings like to blitz a lot. It seems a bit of trouble, and I just think it's how good Jefferson has still been playing. I think the Vikings are going to score a lot of points. Yeah, and I'm just curious if Carolina's going to be able to keep up. And 3.5, it's a risk. I would have liked it being under 3. Would have been nice, but
it's already out to 4 now. Yeah. Cool, good stuff. Yeah, I think the Panthers are really struggling, aren't they? I thought they were going to be all right, and I thought Bryce was going to start off well, but they've not have this. So fair enough. Vikings really need this one. I think it's a good one to have for them. Cool. Gary, the guest you heard in the preview, went for Commanders, Eagles. He had to get to he talked himself out of the 14 on the Niners. NFC East matchup. I think we see obviously Washington 2 wins to start off the season. Come up against the good Bills team. Are we expecting the Eagles to slap them around like the -8 suggests they will?
I think the only thing is, I think Washington beat them last year when they were on a run.
Undefeated,
when they're undefeated. And I always think they play each other close. I've still picked the Eagles just because I'm picking the better team and how Sam Howell played next year. But being 8, I can see this being a bit closer just because how good the Washington front defense is and that Hurts has not been playing amazingly. So I think it could be closer than it. But yeah, I went the Eagles anyway.
It's already gone out to 9. Yeah, it's already gone out to 9 as well. So it's already shifted out to 9. So yeah, interesting. Cool. On our underdogs, the 3 of us have all picked the Seattle Seahawks +1. And I still, I'm trying to find, and the only thing I can think of is Seattle got a really bad record on the East Coast or something because I didn't really understand the +1.
Well, it's flipped, hasn't it?
Has it changed? I checked on it before we started recording. It's changed now. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so an hour and 20 minutes ago, it was still +1. Seattle are now -1. But yeah, bollocks. I was going to hammer it before it flipped, and because we were recording.
Well, I actually put the bell on just before the podcast, and it flipped on mine. So on mine, it was -1.
Because I checked before we started as well, and that's flipped while we've been on. That is a shame, but yeah, we're all on Seattle +1. On Monday Night Football. Gary's on the Dolphins +2.5 at Buffalo. Overs, I've gone Steelers Texans. I went Steelers Texans this one, and I saw it, and again, you can read too much into this, but 92% of the bets and 94% of the money is on the over. This could be one where everyone just gets phased, but 42. I know Pittsburgh Steelers offense was better against the Raiders. Houston had a great offensive game against the Jaguars. I'm thinking points.
I'm the opposite. Well, obviously Byron's the opposite as well. I think the only issue I have with this one is that the best units are both defenses, and so that's why I don't like going overs, just because it's Pickett going to struggle against the Houston defense, which is not incredible, but it's still a good defense. But I think vice versa, CJ Stroud might struggle against the Pittsburgh defense because it has been one of the best.
They seem to start. I'm not suggesting they're going to be able to do it against the Steelers front line, D line, but he was sacked 11 times during the first 2 weeks. He didn't get sacked at all last week, CJ Stroud. And I think obviously you prepare and you need to just. Sorry.
that doesn't happen again this week.
Yeah, no, I'm not suggesting it does. Of course, he is. TJ Watt will get to him at least once. But I think what you do is obviously you just try and you just build everything into just release that ball as quickly as possible. Tank Dell had obviously a bit of an explosive game, and he had a bit of coming out last week. I don't know. I just like it. It seems to be able to hit some quite big plays as well. Houston. I think the fact that probably Pittsburgh will get a defensive touchdown of some sort actually helps. Will help the over. So yeah. I like it. I think that'll actually be quite a fun game as well in Houston. Byron, you've gone over Bucks Saints. We've talked about that game. Joe, you've gone over Seahawks Giants. Expecting that to be a fun one on Monday night, over 47.
Yeah, just think again. I think my philosophy this year is the best two units is probably both offenses. I think both defenses have not lived up to the hype this year, so I'm expecting points, especially the Seahawks. I think they could hit 30, and I can see New York being a home game around 20 as well. So, but yeah, I think what Byron said, it was tricky the over this week because I wasn't confident on many of them. So
yeah, I've really struggled with an over.
And with it being Monday night, I'm a bit like, if I hit my first two, see what the cash out's looking like halfway as well. Without
Look, you're a coward, Joe.
Cash out. Not even like if I hit the first three, you got two of them.
Well, I didn't realize that until I was putting this together. I was like, oh yeah. I have got two of them. Because I was going to choose a different underdog, but I just couldn't. So
cool. Gary's on, same as you, Byron, for the over Bucks Saints. Under, I've gone Raiders Chargers. So I think Chargers will win this quite comfortably, and the Raiders are going to struggle, especially if Jimmy G is going to miss the game. If we've got Brian Hoyer or Aiden O'Connell making a first NFL start. Then, yeah, I'm quite comfortable the Chargers might win this quite comfortably. So under 48 points, I think we can have, and the Chargers can still cover under that and still score quite a lot and it still be under. So, yeah, I like that, even with the Chargers' defensive injuries. Byron, you've faded me under on the Steelers Texans. I think what we need to do, Joe, is put the picks in secret as well, by the way. So we all just have to, just put them on at a certain time so nobody can see them or hide them somehow. Yeah. Because Byron just keeps fading me. Steelers, Texans, which is a good strategy. Under 42. Yeah. You've gone under Eagles. I nearly did it again. Eagles, Commanders.
Yeah, just because I don't think Sam Howell's going to score many points against this Eagles defense. And the Eagles defense has not been incredible. And they're actually playing a good defense this week. So I think it's going to be like 30-3 to the Eagles. Something around that point. So
I like that under as well.
Sorry?
I like that under as well.
Yeah. I did, to be fair. Yeah, I think
that Eagles D-line is going to be in. After what happened last week with Bills to Sam Howell, I think Sam Howell's not going to be looking forward to this Sunday.
Yeah, rough one for Sam Howell after two good outings. But yeah, I think that under's looking good. And then Gary's wishing for me to have a miserable afternoon at Wembley because he's gone for the Lunder, which is a myth, as we established earlier on in the show. 16-14 overs.
Especially if Kyle Pitts getting 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's an offensive explosion at Wembley.
Especially with that weather.
Yeah, especially that glorious sunshine. Just a quick
note.
Paul's
not going to be short. Paul's not going to be in shorts,
Yeah. Usually I like a few beers while I'm at the game. NFL, usually when I go to Wembley to watch Manchester United, you don't have the luxury of being able to have a pint while you're watching the game. I went to an event at Wembley in late August. Do you want to guess at how much a pint was?
£9.
£12.
No, I mean, to be fair, no, both of those are way higher, but I thought this was ridiculous. £7.85 a pint it was.
Go to an NFL game in America.
Yeah, I appreciate that, but scandalous.
Unless it's the Falcons, which apparently is supposed to be the best.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I should rephrase that. Go to a Bears game.
Yeah.
Where you need to be in more than anything else.
Yeah. I thought it was scandalous, £7.85 a pint.
That is scandalous.
Yeah.
But I think pints like out here. Even the CFL game I went to watch, it was like $10 for just a can.
Yeah, it was a can of Budweiser as well. Pint can of Budweiser.
It was like Coors. Yeah.
Rancid. Yeah, we'll see. It might change for Sunday, but I doubt it. If anything, it would have gone up. Right, yeah, the records for the FourFold challenge. Sorry, it's completely off track here. Reminder, the loser will have to make a donation to charity of the winner's choosing, a figure based on what the gap is between the loser and the winner's record. I'm 5-7 after a terrible week last week. Byron's 8-4, looking good. Joe's looking even better at 11-1, and our guests so far are combined 6-6. Mine, Joe's, and Byron's FourFold this week, all coming up plus 12.28. Gary's slightly more at 12.91. Let's finish off this week then by having a look at the rest of the slate and the rest of our ATS Picks challenge. We'll cover the games that we haven't touched. So we talked on the last episode about the Lions. Packers on Thursday Night Football. The Lions -1.5. We've all gone for the Lions, haven't we? We're all liking the Lions in this one.
I think it's a close game though. I think the 1.5's not too far off what it should be, but
yeah,
Gary got an IR today really stings the Packers, I think.
Who went an IR?
David Bakhtiari.
Yeah, Bakhtiari. Yeah. We've seen, I think Jones should be back and Watson back. Mm-hmm. That kicks off soon, doesn't it? 1:15. Cool. Yeah.
So by the time we get done recording this, inactives will be out.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. It should be out already. If I was teasing out 2 hours before.
90 minutes.
Oh, 90 minutes. Oh, well,
so it'll be in like
now. Yeah. It's 11:15. Paul, you need to go to bed. It is. I'm on the Falcons, as previously discussed. Joe and Byron on the Jags, -3. I'm on the Ravens, +2.5. Joe and Byron on the Browns.
Alexander is inactive, by the way, but Watson and Jones are playing.
Cool. Good stuff. I hate that I picked Chicago +3. I hate it. But me and Byron on Chicago, Joe on the Broncos. I'm on the Texans +3. I think it's going to be a real close game. I know that Steelers defense is pretty damn good, but I just know I like what I've seen out of the Texans. I liked what I saw out of the Texans last week, and I think at home they can keep this one close, especially with it being +3. I sense possibly a push there. Rams, Colts, we haven't talked about at all. I think this is going to depend. It seems like Richardson's trending to play. To play. I think he practiced yesterday, so I think he should be playing. But I like the Rams +1. I know second half they kind of fell apart in Cincinnati, but I think they did okay against the Niners, and they played really well against the Seahawks week 1. And I Matt Stafford against Andy Richardson. Give me Matt Stafford all day long.
Yeah, this was going to be my favourite. Underdog. Not underdog. Yeah, this is going to be my underdog. Was going to be the Rams because I think they're going to win and be in 1 point. But then I just talked myself out of it by the end just because I was like, I trust the Seahawks more than the Giants. But I still think they're similar to you, Paul. I think the Rams are going to win this. Again, my non-logical point of view, I think both of these are 2-2 kind of teams. So that's why I think the Rams are going to win.
Yeah, Byron, you're on the Colts. Yeah, any strong reasons as to why?
Not hugely home game. Anthony Richardson's back. I think they've been really well coached so far this year. And I was really disappointed with the Rams closing out the game on Monday Night Football. Not one, I don't think I'll be betting the line here. I just think the Rams, I think they need to really show up again after Monday because they kind of looked a bit like what I thought they might be coming into the season. And yeah, the Colts have looked really good. If Richardson can play the full game and look like he has so far, I think, yeah, Colts can go away with that one, yeah.
Aaron Donald's going to eat him alive.
I don't know if the Colts O-line have given up a sack yet this season. Or the internal O-line haven't. I think it is, so. It should be a good matchup with Quentin Nelson, and I think Ryan Kelly's back as well, so.
Cool, good stuff. We've discussed Bucks, Saints. I'm on the Bucks. Joe and Byron are on the Saints -3. Me and Byron on Miami +2.5. Joe on the Buffalo Bills -2.5. We're all on the Eagles -8. All on the Bengals -2. I think that game on Monday night is going to set them right, and I think we should start seeing the offense be what we know it can be.
This was a tricky one for me. I'm still not fully confident just because Burrows didn't look amazing, and Tennessee's got a good defensive front, so it could be some trouble there. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, similar to how it was against the Rams. I think it's going to be, and it could go either way, but I just went with who's got the better player, quarterback and wide receiver, basically. And also because the Bengals defense looked a lot better last week than they did the previous. I think if they had a bad defensive game again, I would have probably gone Tennessee, but
I mean, it talks about Vrabel. The Titans let me down last week. Vrabel is an underdog. I couldn't take them in this spot. They got pummeled by the Browns. I'm expecting to see the Bengals back. This is a real good, after kind of grinding out that win on Monday night, this is a real good matchup for them, I think, to show the league that they're back. We're all on the Vikings -3.5 against Carolina, all on the Chargers -5.5 against the Raiders, all on Dallas -7 against New England. You two guys are probably rightly on the San Francisco 49ers -14. I think the Cardinals are going to cover again.
This feels like last week when we had the Bears, Cardinals, the Seahawks, Panthers, and Cowboys, Cardinals, and the Chiefs, Bears, and like one of them is going to screw it. It might be the Cardinals again. 14's a lot, but I think kind of what I thought to happen with last week is like the Cowboys defense be too physical, and I think that'll be the same this week. I just hope I'm right this week, whereas I obviously wasn't last week.
Yeah. To be honest, I think I would, if it wasn't San Francisco and they weren't my team, I probably would have gone for the Cardinals. Just because they always seem to play each other close. It feels like the NFC West has this weird thing where one team always beats the other team, and it's just like it goes a full circle. And the Cardinals used to beat the 49ers all the time. But yeah, 14 is a lot. But I've just gone with what I actually want to happen rather than,
Niners win again. I don't think we're at risk of what happened last week with Dallas. There's no way the Niners will lose this game. But I just think 10, 13 points, maybe a backdoor cover from the Cardinals late on is kind of my thinking.
A field goal at the last minute,
Yeah, I'll take it.
Down 16.
But I also think because the Cowboys had a stinker, that might have been like the 49ers might be like, oh, we can't take this easy. Let's not do what the Cowboys did. So
it's in San Francisco. It's not in Arizona. But yeah, I just look, it's just too big and the Cardinals have covered all 3 weeks so far. So I'm going to go to them until I'll go to them until they tell me until they show me they can't cover.
Did you go for the Cardinals any of the other games or no?
I think I did the Giants game,
Oh, okay.
Which I think they were +4, weren't they? Something like that.
Cool.
Yeah, I didn't last week, obviously, but and I think I did. I want to say I think I did week 1 as well against the Commanders. No, I didn't. We all went Commanders that week. Yeah. But yeah, I really like the Cardinals to cover this one. I just think they will. But there's also a bit where it says, look, eventually we're going to get to a week where the talent level of the Cardinals is going to be what it is. It's going to shine. They're going to get to that level, and if that's the case, they'll get beat by 40 by the Niners if it's this week where they drop off. So, yeah, until they show me they can, I'm going to start hammering the Cardinals spreads. We're all on the Chiefs. We talked about that last time. We're all on the Seattle Seahawks. Joe's in the lead at the minute, 28-18-2 on the ATS competition where we pick every game. Byron's second, 2 games behind, 26-20-2, and I'm dead last, 22-24-2. Joe had a great week last week. You were 12-4, weren't you? So you're going well at the minute, mate. But hopefully I can start catching back up. Cool. That's it from us. Final reminder about the Fantasy Gameday app. Go get your lineup in before 5 o'clock on Sunday. Go download it from the Apple App Store. Go download it from your Google Play Store or wherever else it is. Am I missing one? Is there a different one that I missed?
If you have a phone that doesn't use those, seek it out.
It's easy to find. Get your lineup in. You've got a chance of winning a cash prize. Fantasy Gameday, the UK's first daily fantasy app, exclusively for fans in the UK. Join a game and build a lineup of your favourite NFL stars within the budget. Enter up to 5 lineups to improve your chances of winning a cash prize. The top 20% of entries win, and the higher you finish, the higher the prize tier. It's finally here, exclusively available in the UK. Must be 18 years or older. Please gamble responsibly. That's it from us this week. We'll be back on early next week, Tuesday or Wednesday, to talk through everything that's happened in week 4. Thanks to our guest Gary Thorpe from earlier on. Go give him a follow. Go catch him on Let's Talk Sports Network or the Around the NFL UK show. Thursday night, it's 9 o'clock UK time, 4 p.m. Eastern. That's it from us. Byron, Joe, thanks very much. See you soon. Have a great week 4.
Cheers.
oh, if you're at Wembley and you've seen me, come give me a shout. It'd be a bit weird, but, that's cool. But have a great week.